Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Makeup by Ammo. I know this is a lot different from what you're usually seeing on my channel, so let me explain. This is my David Bowie Life on Mars makeup tutorial. This will be perfect for Halloween in honor of the legendary David Bowie. And today I'm actually taking you along a photo shoot that I have with Jono Photography. Now the look that we're doing today, he's actually going to take this color of the wig in Photoshop and he's going to turn it into the exact hair color that David Bowie had in Life on Mars. Now, David Bowie has been such an inspiration to me throughout growing up. I think, fell in love with his song Little China Girl. And as I got a little bit older and the movie The Wedding Singer had come out around the time I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, that song was on the soundtrack and it just made me totally fall in love with him. And throughout high school and throughout my adult life, I've just loved him. As I was actually getting ready today, I was listening to Little China Girl and I totally choked up because it is just so sad that he's no longer with us. But I know that his legend is going to live on forever and that makes me happy. So I hope that you guys enjoy this makeup tutorial / behind the scenes of the photo shoot that I'm having with Jono Photography in just a few minutes. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to take a small cotton pad and a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to remove the natural oils on my brow hairs so that this glue stick actually sticks on better. And at first I'm putting it in the direction that the hair is growing, then I go the opposite way just to really get it all over the hairs, and then I go back over just to smooth it all over. Next, I'm going to take my hairdryer and put it on the cool setting. You don't want to melt the glue now, and that's just going to speed up the drying process. Step number 2 is just to repeat, going in the direction that the hair is growing, just to really smooth over and thicken up that glue. And of course, dry it again. Now the third time, you want to be careful. Don't pull too hard, and you're just going to do a light third coat. And of course, dry again. Now I'm using white cream-based face paint and a concealer brush to outline the eyeshadow shape. I'm using my phone as a photo reference to make sure that it stops and starts in the right places. You're going to create a circular shape covering your eyebrows and ending at the outer corner of the eye. The inner corner will extend into the inner socket of the eye and will end at your tear duct. I'm also patting an extra layer of product onto my brows to conceal them. Now I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side, making sure that it is even and symmetrical. After filling it in, don't forget to add that extra layer, patting it on top of the brow hair area. Once I'm done with the application, I like to press it with my finger to smooth the surface out. Once it's smooth, I set it with translucent powder and a small fluffy brush. And when you look like a crazy white panda, you know that you're headed in the right direction. Now using this bright cobalt blue eyeshadow and a small rounded brush, I'm going to outline the eyeshadow shape. I'm going to be creating a slightly more dramatic look so that the white on the eye stands out. The best way that I can describe the eyeshadow shape is that it looks like a wave on top and a music note on the bottom. I'm starting the tip of the wave from the deepest point in my inner socket, making sure that there is a good distance between my natural crease and the crease that I'm creating. Next, I'm marking a starting point 1/3 inward on my eyelid and finishing that music note-like shape. Once I have all of that mapped out, I use a flat brush to pat on and fill in the shape that I created. For the other side, we're just going to repeat the same steps, making sure that everything is symmetrical. First, starting with the outline. Then creating that wave shape on top. Finish that music note-like shape on the bottom. And then fill everything in. If you look like a blue panda from outer space at this point, then you're headed in the right direction. If the white area above your crease happens to get a little bit of blue on it, you can take the white cream makeup in a small liquid eyeliner brush to clean it up. Now I'm applying this shimmery white eyeshadow with a small pencil brush over those white areas. Next, I'm applying a deep cobalt color with the blending brush just on my eyelids and then repeating that with a deep navy blue color. With a smaller blending brush, I'm blending the black shadow starting at my lash line and diffusing it up. Next, I'm going to blend that all together with the regular sized blending brush with no product and then prime the lower lash line with the white cream makeup. For the lower lash line, I'm starting with a small rounded flat brush and the bright cobalt blue coming in about 2/3 of the way. Next, I'm doing the same with the black shadow, keeping it as close to the lash line as possible. To finish up, I'm taking a little more of the cobalt blue and blending it a little further down. Now I'm priming the inner corners with the white cream makeup and taking the shimmery white eyeshadow with a dense angle brush to pack on the inner third of the bottom lash line. To complete the eyes, I'm adding black gel liner to the waterline of each eye and cleaning up any eyeshadow fallout with a makeup remover wipe. To prep my face, I'm applying some face primer with a buffing foundation brush. Next, I'm taking my contour and highlight color and mixing it with a little bit of primer for blendability and to give it some extra staying power. I'm applying the contour in a way to make me look more masculine and more like David Bowie. I'm starting the contour on my cheeks a little higher than normal to give me the illusion of high cheekbones. I swoop that line down to give the illusion of hollowness and a more defined chin. I also squared off my forehead to make it appear more masculine and finish by contouring the sides of my nose. Next, I'm starting the highlight on the outside of the nose contour to make my nose appear more slim. I'm continuing that highlight onto my cheeks and cheekbones, as well as on my forehead, down the center of my nose, and squaring off my chin. To define the chin shape, I'm just going back in with what's left on my contour brush. Next step is to blend it all in. I like to use one side of the sponge for the highlight and the other side of the sponge for the contour. To blend the nose contour, I actually like to use my fingers since it's such a small area. Now I'm mixing my foundation color with a little bit of primer and then applying it all over my face with the larger side of my sponge. To apply the foundation around the eyes, I switch over to the smaller, pointier side of my sponge. Next, I'm mixing a little of the leftover contour color with whatever is left of my foundation color and applying that on my forehead, on my chin, and on my jawline for some extra definition. I'm also applying a little of what is left on the back of my sponge onto my lips to neutralize them. Now I'm taking a large kabuki brush and setting my face with translucent powder. To enhance my contour, I'm using a light cool-toned brown shadow with a fluffy flat brush for my nose and with a fluffy powder brush for my cheeks, forehead, and jawline. To create dimension, I'm going to be using this peach blush and deep orange blush. I'm starting with the lighter color on my cheeks and forehead. I'm now applying the darker color in the depths of my cheeks and closer to my hairline. To soften it a bit, I like to take the kabuki brush and blend in circular motions. Moving on to the lips, I'm applying a light pink lip pencil to overline my cupid's bow, and then lining the rest of my lip and bottom lip regularly, as well as filling it in. Now I'm applying a light pink lipstick and a light colored gloss. This one has a gold tint to it, but you can use a light pink or clear gloss as well. I decided to bring the contour line on the cheeks down a little further and blended it into the rest of the cheek with a clean blush brush. Then I added black mascara to both my top and bottom lashes. Now I'm applying a shimmery cream-colored highlight with a fluffy highlight brush to the top of my cheekbones as well as down the center of my nose. This step is optional, but it's a great step that I like to do so that it will catch the light and photograph really beautifully. To prep my hair for the wig, I just like to wrap it around loosely and then pin it down with a ton of bobby pins. I actually used 19 in total just to pin it all down and make it as flat as possible so that the wig isn't too bulky. This is a great way to prep your hair if you won't be using a hairnet, and it should look something like this when you're done. Now it's time for the wig. The Halloween store didn't have any glam rock wigs, so I actually transformed a mullet wig. I brushed out the curls, trimmed the bangs to look like Bowie's, thinned out the ends, and put the ends in rollers overnight so that they would slightly flare out. Once the wig was on, I decided to bring in a little bit more of that light peach color so that it would show with the wig on. And then I also decided to do a little bit more contour down my nose and on my jawline. And that completes the look, guys. Be sure to stay tuned to see the little behind the scenes of my photo shoot.
It's lazy town. It's not enough.